Good evening and welcome back, and let's now talk about the big political story of the day. The 3-day-long Chintan Shivir of the Congress party now concluded in Udaipur, in which the Congress party decided a number of things. Number one, that they will improve their communication, that more young people are going to come and occupy positions in the state as well as district units, and that the Congress, in a counter to the hate narrative, is going to start a Bharat Jodo yatra from the 2nd of October. But while the Congress party is trying to reimagine, rejig, reorient itself, and their critics will say one more time, because they've done this in the past also, can the Congress's Chintan deliver in 2024? That is the key question, and that is the subject matter of our debate as well. I would like to introduce our guest this evening, Yatra, Vice Chairman of the Media Department and spokesperson of the Congress Party. Devjani Bhattacharya is a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Tehseen Poonawala is a political analyst, supports the Congress Party. And we also have Raghav Avasthi, lawyer as well as an RSS supporter. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Atri, let me ask you this question straight up. It's not the first time that the Congress has done its Chintan. Obviously, one must continue to do Chintan. But what will come out of this Chintan? You know, because I heard Rahul Gandhi saying, can you hear me? Mr. Atri, can you hear me? Okay, I don't think Mr. Atri can hear me. We'll try to go to him in just a short moment. Tehseen Poonawala seems to be smiling a lot. Tehseen, do you think that the Congress party, which has done its Chintan on a number of occasions in the past, will be able to deliver in 2024?
You know, Sanket, there was an old classic song, "Tum itna jo muskura rahe ho, kya gam hai jisko chupa rahe ho." So when you ask me why I smile, the smile is sometimes out of optimism, sometimes out of hope. So
which one is this?
खैर हमारी जिंदगी में गम तो है नहीं, लेकिन उम्मीद है कि कांग्रेस does better. It's important for the country to do better. As you rightly put, I've been a Congress supporter and I've always, all my life, voted for the Congress and will till my last breath. But there are some things that, you know, it's nice that this Udaipur Chintan Shivir happened. They got together, put heads together, and thought that they should do some positive building. But there are two things that I specifically want to address. A, in politics, there is nothing about just young people or old people. There is competent people. You could be a Kamal Nath, who's an old guard in the sense speaking and is extremely competent. And you could be, say, somebody like a Sachin Pilot or an Ashok Gehlot, who's both an old guard and a young guard, but extremely competent. So it's not about old guard or young guard. It's about competent versus incompetent people. You can also be a young person and be terribly incompetent. So as we've seen, say, with Navjot Singh Sidhu. So we got to be clear about that. Politics is about competence. But there's a larger issue that I want to advise the Congress party. I tweeted about this, and this is because I love them a lot. You see, all of this brainstorming will be of use if it's put into practice. Now, you see, today, let's take the example of today. There was a Thomas Cup finals, and you knew that was happening. It was a historic moment for our country. You should have anticipated that this finals would go on at the time Shri Rahul Ji would speak. And therefore, either you should have preponed Rahul Ji's speech to morning or done it for evening. Communication in 2022 needs to be up there quickly. You cannot be old and bureaucratic. Number two, even imagine you did not understand that there was a Thomas Cup. I understand that. It may have skipped your mind. When the minute you knew that Thomas Cup India's had a historic victory, you should have sent a chit up to Rahul Ji, because he was speaking immediately to announce it so that the media would have taken it, and he would have been the first national leader to congratulate even before the Honorable Prime Minister did that. Now, you cannot in 2022...
No, it's interesting that you say, this seems to be some sort of a self-critique. It's interesting that you say this, Tehseen, because Rahul Gandhi's speech was all about communication, about fixing communication.
Exactly. So you see what's happening is, now you'll have a problem. I mean, a lot of my friends in the Congress have a problem. Why is the media cut out from his speech? They cut out because the Thomas Cup was historic victory. They would have cut out even if Prime Minister Modi was speaking. But Prime Minister Modi's office anticipates it. You've got to anticipate it or be quick enough to quickly announce it. And all of you in the media would have been forced to play Rahul Gandhi's bite, and Rahul Gandhi would have beaten the Prime Minister at...
Okay, Anuj Atre, since the Congress supporter...
One more line.
Has turned into this in-house critic.
I love the Congress. I will die for the Congress. Just one more line. I've one advice very publicly. I've seen the Congress troll NDTV. I've seen the Congress troll you. It is wrong. to not become what we fight. We fight the BJP.
Oh, that's
This is what my grandfather stood for.
That is okay.
My
Everyone is free to troll.
No. You cannot
do
what the BJP does. No. That is not what Nehru would have done. That is not what Indira Ji would have done.
Okay.
That is not what
a very famous saying in English, if you want to stand in the kitchen, learn to face the heat.
Never fight.
Simple.
No, that's for you. But we should not become what the BJP is. Never become what the BJP is.
Politicians' criticism should be taken as a badge of honor. Simple.
No,
full stop.
That's fine, but we should not...
Anuj. So while we were trying to fix your audio, Tehseen Poonawalla said that if the speech was all about improving communication, perhaps it would have been better had Rahul Gandhi either deferred or advanced his speech to make sure that it does not time or get timed with that historic win in the Thomas Cup. Because then channels will cut out and then you will sit and brood over the fact that the media is blacking you out.
Somewhere I agree with Tehseen bhai. It should have been planned. It would have been better अगर थोड़ा सा हम लोग उसको prepone कर लेते. Because
this is fantastic. I mean, I can see some amount of Chintan working. There are two people who support the Congress are self-critiquing.
It is not criticism. It is not at all criticism. ये एक plan होना चाहिए था. ठीक है कहीं ना कहीं. Otherwise क्या है? Everybody is today was worried कि राहुल जी क्या बोलना चाहे. Everybody was curious and people have listened to him very social media platform पे देखा है. No doubt कि ठीक है अगर हम mainstream media अगर नहीं दिखा पाए due to some उनका अपना जो भी reservations नहीं होंगी TRP को लेकर के ठीक है. लेकिन राहुल जी की speech सब प्लेटफॉर्म पर चली है. सब लोगों ने सुना है. आज देश के एक कोने कोने तक, हर स्टेट के कोने कोने तक, सब लोगों के मोबाइल पर, सब लोगों के सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म पर राहुल जी की स्पीच है. सब लोगों ने सुना है, देखा है. इट वुड हैव बीन मोर बेटर अगर हम उसको थोड़ा सा प्लान आउट हो जाता और अगर हमारा मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया थॉमस कप की जगह राहुल जी की स्पीच सुना था. क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं उन्होंने जो बोला है आज हमारी कंट्री को उस चीज से बहुत ज्यादा इफेक्ट होने जा रहा है.
No, but then, the other question, he says that I am fighting the ideology of the RSS and the BJP. Now, Anuj ji, I remember Rahul Gandhi saying this for almost 7 years now. It seems that you have not been able to convince the people. A tall leader in the Congress party as tall as Rahul Gandhi has been fighting this ideology and not succeeding. And yet today he repeats the same thing. So how is this speech any different from the ones he made in 2014, 15, 17, 19, 2020, 22?
जो राहुल जी ने कहा है, जो 2014 में का बोला था, वही आज बोल रहे हैं. नो डाउट अबाउट इट कि वो रिपीट कर रहे हैं, रिपीटेडली एक ही बात बोल रहे हैं और इसीलिए बोल रहे हैं क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जो एक एजेंडा फिक्स कर रखा है. आज जो कंट्री में एक एजेंडा फिक्स करके और अपनी पार्टी के एजेंडा के हिसाब से जो एक डिबेट पूरी कंट्री में चला रखी है, उस चीज से लड़ने के लिए राहुल जी ने जो एक इशू उठाया है वो आज भी उस चीज पे है.
Okay, Devjani Bhattacharya, I want to come to you now. You see the Congress party saying that they will take out a Bharat Jodo yatra from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Do you feel that this is going to this will be seen as a communication strategy to counter a hate narrative? There is a massive hate narrative.
Now, before talking anything regarding this, we must know what is the hate narrative. It is required to define it first. In any case, any yatra, Bharat Jodo yatra, whatever it is a good activity on behalf for anyone. A yatra from Kashmir to Kanyakumari is a very good idea. And it is named Bharat Jodo. ये भी बहुत अच्छा idea.
What is happening today?
Very good idea.
Congress is criticizing itself. BJP is praising Congress.
No, what I'm telling you
is this for real?
No. It's not question of praising or criticizing.
Okay.
Before coming to say that this is against the hate narrative, we need to define what is hate. So first you define it for me. What is hate exactly?
Hate is hate. How do I define it? Hate is to spread a a sense of panic among communities to make them feel that there is a state of unrest and then use it for political gains by not taking action against those who are very openly vitiating the atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm coming
and
to
then
that.
Yet on record saying that we don't support these activities.
In that case, go to Uttar Pradesh. It is a BJP government. No unrest. Everything is peaceful. Then the question comes, who's creating this unrest? Because whenever we see, it is a state like Uttar Pradesh, the biggest one with almost 25 crore population, no unrest, no political disharmony or communal disharmony. Everything is peaceful. Everyone is cooperating with the government. But rest of the country, you look at the other states, what is happening even today in West Bengal? What is happening in West Bengal? I mean, what is causing that unrest in that case? We need a lot of introspection. And if Congress has really done a Chintan on that, and it is very good they have done the Chintan openly. Chintan is an introvert act. It is not an act to do such openly, making it public and waiting for the media.
Okay, before Anuj Attri and Tagore, before Anuj Attri as well as Tehseen Poonawalla respond, Raghav Awasthi. Raghav, the big question of this debate, since the focus of Rahul Gandhi's speech was against BJP and RSS and more particularly the ideology, do you think that they will be able to take this message across? I mean, are you willing to, is the RSS as an organization and BJP as a political challenger willing to take the Congress lightly?
No, I think there is no question of taking anybody lightly or with more gravity than they deserve. I think the big question is as to whether what we saw today was just old wine in new bottle. That is something that we need to answer. Because Rahul Gandhi made an important statement today. He said that India is not a nation, but it is a union of states. But then there is a fundamental problem because the calling card for the Congress party since the late 19th century when it was formed has been nationalism. And it is by definition a national party, and it is a party which is there in corners of the country that even the BJP has not reached. So if your calling card is nationalism and then you are somehow denying India's nationhood and repeatedly saying that, oh, it is some sort of a federal union or union of states, then I think there seems to be a cognitive dissonance, and the Congress needs to realize that this, whatever they are trying to market themselves as, it can be the calling card of a regional party or a caste-based party. But if you want votes from all sections of the country, all castes and all religions, then your calling card cannot be so parochial. That is one thing. The second thing which I wanted to hear something on is as to whether there is any plan on expanding the Congress party, because right now the situation is that in a lot of states there is space that has been ceded to non-BJP parties as challengers to the BJP. You look at what is happening in Delhi, the BJP's primary challenger is not the Congress party, it is the Aam Aadmi party.
I think that's an important point that Raghav Awasthi has made. How would you like to respond, Tehseen? The Congress party growing weak is not just helping the BJP, but there are other parties who are coming in and filling in that vacuum. They're doing that in Goa, they did that in Uttarakhand, they're trying to do that in, it has happened in Punjab, it has happened in Delhi, and they're trying elsewhere as well. We're talking about the Aam Aadmi party. Look at the way they're coming up in Gujarat, Himachal.
That's true. So there are two quick points I want to add. A, to Raghav. Raghav's a lawyer and a very competent one at that. I'm sure he's read Article 1 of the Indian Constitution that says India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. And that's exactly what Rahul Gandhi said, that India is a union of states. Let's come together to form a nation. He never said India is not a country. His father and his grandmother have been martyred for this country, as his great-grandfather spent the maximum of time in jail to get this country independent. But let me come to the pertinent point that you made, and very rightly, Raghav, I agree with the point you've made. I think what the Congress needs to absolutely focus on is on the regional parties. It cannot cede more space to the regional parties. Sanket, there is a fundamental problem with the Congress party, and this fundamental problem is this. Wherever the BJP goes into an alliance with a regional party, for example, Nitish Ji's party, when they tried it with Shiv Sena or with the Akali Dal, the BJP tends to grow at the expense of the regional party. With the Congress, that is different. The Congress seems to cede that space. When it went with Laluji, it ceded space in Bihar. When it went with Mayawati ji, historically during Narasimha Rao's era, it ceded space to Mayawati ji and later to Sappa. So the Congress tends, with Aam Aadmi Party in 2013, it ceded space. So the Congress tends to cede space to regional parties. I think the Congress has a twofold problem. It does understand that at a national level, to beat the BJP, it needs to have some sort of a broad alliance to get the numbers to beat the BJP in the vote percentage. However, in trying to get those numbers at a national level...
No, but then if you listen very closely to what Rahul Gandhi said today, he said that no other party, no regional outfit or no other party can defeat the BJP, Anuj Atre. It is only the Congress party. So even now, it seems that there is this grand idea in the mind of Rahul Gandhi that only and only Congress is the BJP's big challenger. So where
exactly
does that mean that the Congress party is very naturally moving away from hunting for alliance partners?
संकेत जी, जब हम नेशनल परसेप्शन में देखते हैं तो कांग्रेस पार्टी नेचुरल चॉइस आती है लोगों के मन में. आप ठीक है, रीजनल पार्टीज का अपने अपने स्टेट में थोड़ा अपना हो सकता है, गवर्नमेंट भी उन लोगों ने बनाई है, लेकिन जब ओवरऑल कंट्री की बात होती है तो एक कॉमन वोटर, एक कॉमन पब्लिक मैन के मन में कहीं ना कहीं नेशनल पार्टी के रूप में कांग्रेस पार्टी का ही नाम आता है. और आज भी अगर राहुल जी ने जो बात बोली है, जो बीजेपी ने जो एजेंडा सेट कर रखा है कम्युनलिज्म का, हेट्रेड का, बुलडोजर मोड ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स का, उस सबसे हटके बात की है. वो कहते हैं कि जो कंट्री की, आज देश की जो नेशन की रिक्वायरमेंट है, जो बीजेपी ने जो डिस्ट्रक्शन की पॉलिसीज बना रखी है, जो हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस को जो पैरालाइज कर रखा है, जो डिस्ट्रक्टिव कर रखा है, उन सबको रिवाइव करने की रिक्वायरमेंट है. आज कंट्री में जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, सबसे पहले प्राइस राइज को लेकर के, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट को लेकर के, उससे लड़ने की रिक्वायरमेंट है, न कि आपस में कंट्रीमैन को आपस में लड़वाने की, आपस में रिलीजन के बेसिस पे, आपस में कास्ट के बेसिस पे लड़वाने का.
If the point is effective communication, then you can't sit in judgment and blame everyone else apart from yourself, right? Generally speaking, you see the Congress party, it has gotten into this, rant mode where you find fault with everyone but yourself. Will that be a good strategy of communication? And as Tehseen Poonawalla said, politics is the art of making friends. So is the Congress party necessarily making friends? That's the big question. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have Mr. Manikam Tagore of the Congress party with us. Mr. Tagore, thank you very much. You're a CWC member also. Rahul Gandhi has been saying that BJP and RSS ideology is his main battle for 3 elections now. How do you see the Congress party being battle ready for 2024 when the messaging has not worked in 2014, 2019 and even in 2017 UP elections? Why will it work?
2014, I don't remember him saying this thing, because 2019 maybe. But the main thing is that Congress party needs to be ideologically clear about our battle between the RSS and the BJP. And this Mr. Gandhi has been saying for around 5-7 years now, that the ideological clarity on which we need to fight. Electorally, it's a different story. But ideological way, they are capturing the institutions of India from every institution, whichever he usually tells about. The institutions which are very important, prominent institutions have been captured by RSS people, and they with that control, they exercise extreme protection of those people who spread hate. Therefore, Mr. Gandhi is speaking about a ideological party story to the Congress leaders, and he has been telling to the Congress leaders and the Congress workers for long. And Congress workers and Congress leaders, it takes time for the Congress leaders, and because we come from different kind of states, different kind of variety of political opponents we are fighting in the ground, and to say that the RSS and the BJP are the most important dangerous factors in Indian society is a very he has the clarity to speak that thing. And I feel that Congress party with this Shivir, which had more than 422 senior leaders, plus the younger leadership from all parts of the India were there, and we were able to cohesively think in a same manner on which Mr. Gandhi is thinking for around 7-8 years long.
Now, Mr. Tagore, the Bharat Jodo yatra is quite obviously a counter to hate. Now, it's being hailed as a very positive step. You just heard Devjani Bhattacharya saying, of the BJP, saying that who can have an objection with a message of unity. But the point is, there was also this talk about effective communication and getting everyone along. How do you juxtapose these statements with the fact that many leaders of your own party are not convinced with this idea? KV Thomas and Sunil Jhakar are not convinced with this. They've left.
No, there is two things we need to understand, that there is an ideological battle, we are into it, and that battle is going to be a battle. Congress party has defeated the RSS and its ideological hate from the days of partition and before that also, when the RSS and others were helping the Britishers also. We lost twice in that battle now, but that doesn't mean that the battle is over, and we are getting for the next battle into 2024, and we will continue with that part. When we speak about Mr. Thomas or Mr. Jhakar, it is their indiscipline and their it is not the ideological part we are speaking that thing. It is they are speaking about, and they cross the Lakshman Rekha of the party discipline in that concerned states. It may be a southern state or it may be the northern state. Their stories are different. It is not ideological in factor.
All right. Mr. Tagore, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for joining us right here on NDTV. With that, it's a wrap in this edition of Left, Right and Centre. News continues on the other side. Stay with us.